I never thought betrayal would come gift-wrapped in my own living room. But that's exactly where it started. On a Tuesday night, when my wife walked in with this smug little smirk that told me before her words ever did something was wrong. She sat across from me, never beside me, always across now, and dropped a grenade. "I'm pregnant. By your brother. Deal with it." I didn't shout. I didn't cry. I just looked at her, let the silence stretch, and said the only word I could think of: "Congratulations." Her grin faltered, and that was the first crack in her little performance. Because while she thought she was breaking me, I already knew something she didn't. My brother had a vasectomy 5 years ago. I even drove him to the appointment. I had the pictures, the frozen peas, the jokes he made about shooting blanks. So if the baby wasn't mine, and it wasn't his, then whose was it? The walls of my marriage had been crumbling for months. A dead bedroom, constant arguments about money, her disappearing every weekend to visit her sister. I'd been naive enough to think counseling might save us. Instead, I was about to find out she'd been building an entirely different life in the shadows. When I confronted her with the vasectomy, her face drained of color. She tried to spin, claimed he must have reversed it, claimed I was lying, claimed anything but the truth. I even called my brother right there, put him on speaker. He hadn't even seen her in months. He sounded horrified. She sounded cornered. That's when her story began to unravel. Weeks of screaming matches and manipulation followed. She tried everything: seduction, tears, even breakfast and lingerie at 7 a.m., as if eggs and bacon could erase the fact that we hadn't touched each other in 3 months. But I pushed. Dates didn't match. Her excuses crumbled. Until finally, the math placed her exactly where I feared most: her sister's beach house. And the man who lived there? Her sister's husband. And that's when the secret started bleeding into the open. Family group chats exploded. My mother asking why my wife had just announced it was my brother's baby. My brother sending proof of his vasectomy. My wife's sister storming out of the chat when someone asked if my wife had stayed with them during September. Her brother-in-law calling me late at night, voice heavy, saying words no man wants to say out loud. "I think the baby might be mine." And he had proof, security footage. My wife sneaking out of their bedroom in the middle of the night while her sister was unconscious on medication. His voice, weak and slurred, saying no. Her voice, laughing, saying she'd slipped extra pills into her sister's wine that I felt sick. The room spun as he played the audio. This wasn't an affair. This was something darker, something criminal. And then came Thanksgiving that I hadn't planned to go. But my brother begged. My mother insisted. And when I walked into that dining room, the tension was thick enough to choke on. My wife stood up, glowing with arrogance. She announced her pregnancy like it was some kind of miracle. Said she was leaving me. Said she was going to raise the baby with someone who actually loved her. She grabbed her sister's hand in front of everyone. Claimed they were going to raise the child together. But her brother-in-law had other plans. He stood, connected his phone to the speaker, and pressed play. Her voice filled the room. Slurred. Cruel. He won't remember anything. Gwen's passed out. Stop being such a baby about it. I put extra Xanax in her wine. The gasps around that table. I'll never forget them. Her sister shot up from her chair, eyes wide, whispering, "You drug me?" The room collapsed into chaos. Cousins restraining cousins. A wedding ring thrown across the floor. My wife screaming it was all my fault, that if I'd been a better husband, none of this would have happened. But the truth was out. She had destroyed everything. The fallout was nuclear. Police reports, court dates, her mother defending her, calling her a pregnant victim abandoned by everyone, her sister filing for divorce, her brother-in-law in therapy, haunted by that night, and me left with nothing but the ashes of a marriage that had never really been a marriage at all. She tried to sue. She tried to smear me online with fake screenshots. She even broke into her sister's house, caught on camera at 3 a.m. wearing a baby-on-board shirt like pregnancy was a shield from consequences. But the evidence was undeniable. When her trial came, she stood there, 6 months pregnant, belly stretched under a maternity dress that read "blessed," and claimed it was all consensual. Claimed it was a joke. Claimed he wanted it because he finished. The jury didn't buy it. They convicted her. And when sentencing comes, she'll likely give birth in custody. So here I am. Divorced. Healing. Watching the wreckage of family torn apart by one woman's lies and cruelty. And I keep asking myself, how did I not see it sooner? How did I sleep next to someone capable of drugging her own sister, destroying her marriage, and then playing the victim while everyone else's lives burned? Maybe that's the real horror of betrayal. It doesn't come from your enemies. It comes from the person you swore to love, the one who looked you in the eye and promised forever. If you've ever been blindsided like that, if someone you trusted shattered you so deeply you'll never be the same, you know exactly how heavy this story feels. And if you don't, be grateful. Because once you've lived through it, you'll never trust quite the same way again.